We've all been there, right? You're near the end of a trip, the wallet's feeling a little light, but you still want to squeeze out one last day of adventure. Well, today, we're watching someone take that feeling to the absolute limit. We're diving into a challenge set right in the heart of Medina, one of the most incredible cities in the world. Just really think about that for a second. Less than $3 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In a major city. It sounds completely impossible, doesn't it? Well, that's the exact challenge one YouTuber decided to take on in a city famous for its hospitality. All right, so meet Mustafa. His mission, should you choose to accept it, is to get through one full day in Medina, Saudi Arabia, with only 10 rials in his pocket. The rules are brutally simple. 3 meals, one super tiny budget. And if he fails at any point, the whole challenge is a bust. 10 rials. That's it. And to make things even tougher, he's starting first thing in the morning. So no cheating with a big breakfast before he starts. Nope, he's heading out on a totally empty stomach with this huge task ahead of him. Okay, so where do you even start with a budget that small? Mustafa's first move is to hit up a local shop, what they call a bakala, just hoping to find literally anything for breakfast. And this is where the reality of the challenge smacks him right in the face. And right off the bat, we get our first lesson in budget survival. At that little local shop, a simple breakfast cream costs 6 rials. I mean, that's 60% of his entire budget gone, just like that. He smartly decides to walk to a bigger supermarket and finds the same thing for 4 rials. Better, for sure, but still way too expensive. So the search goes on, but everything is a total budget killer. A waffle, 5 rials. A sandwich, 7. He even finds a box of so-called diet biscuits for 12 rials. That's more than his budget for the entire day. It's starting to look like breakfast just isn't going to happen. And then, finally, a little win. After what felt like forever wandering the aisles, the only thing that makes sense is a small bottle of milk for 2 rials. Hey, it's not much, but it's something. Breakfast just cost him 20% of his daily budget, leaving him with a measly 8 rials for lunch and dinner. The pressure is on. So just as Mustafa is settling in with his very humble milk for breakfast, something completely out of the blue happens. And this, right here, is where the story stops being just about a budget challenge and turns into something so much more. A guy comes up to him, a viewer who actually recognizes him from his YouTube channel. Seeing this situation, the fan just hands him a gift, a cake. Mustafa kind of jokes about it, saying the guy must have taken pity on him, but you can tell it was a really genuine moment of kindness. Now, to really understand how huge this gesture was, get this. The cake he was just given was worth 9.99 reals. That is basically the exact value of his entire day's budget in one single gift. A simple act of kindness from a stranger completely changed the game, and suddenly his meager breakfast just turned into a feast. With breakfast being a surprise success, Mustafa's feeling pretty good. But, the challenge is far from over. He's still only got 8 rials left, and now he's got to find an affordable lunch in a really busy area that's packed with restaurants. And yeah, the problem is pretty clear right away. The absolute cheapest meal at any of these sit-down places is more than double his entire initial budget. So a normal lunch? Completely, totally out of the question. After walking for what feels like ages, he finally stumbles upon this little fried chicken spot. And on the menu, he sees it, a chicken burger for 7 reals. Perfect! It fits the budget. But then, you're not going to believe this. It happens again. The owner looks at him and recognizes him from his videos. So Mustafa insists, he wants to pay. But the owner, who's another viewer, refuses. They go back and forth a bit and finally agree on a discount. But the owner's generosity didn't stop there. He brings out not just the burger, but this massive spread of chicken, shrimp, fries, the whole shebang, all on the house. Just incredible. Wow. So after that absolutely epic lunch, Mustafa pays the 7 rials they agreed on, which leaves him with a single rial. 1. For his final meal of the day. This is it, folks, the final boss battle of the challenge, finding dinner with practically no money left at all. So what do you even do now? I mean, seriously, what can you possibly buy for a whole meal with just 1 rial? The pressure to actually finish this thing has got to be immense. The options are, well, there are no options. A single apple costs 3 rials. Even the cheapest banana is 2. Yeah, he could probably buy some biscuits, but he wanted to end the day with a proper meal. It really looked like he had finally hit a wall. And then, for the third time in a single day, a moment of human connection completely saves him. He walks up to a fruit vendor, explains this whole crazy 10 Riyal challenge he's doing, and just asks if there's anything at all, he can buy for his last Riyal. The vendor, after hearing his story, just smiles and makes this amazing offer. He grabs 2 big bananas that would normally cost 4 Riyals and sells them to Mustafa for his very last coin. Just a simple, powerful act of generosity. And just like that, the journey's over. Let's look at the final numbers. He started with 10 Riyals. He spent 2 on that bottle of milk, 7 on his massive lunch, and his very last Riyal on 2 bananas for dinner. The final balance? A perfect 0. Against all odds, he did it. The challenge was a success. He survived a full day in Medina on just 10 Riyals. But he was the very first person to admit it. This wasn't a victory because he was resourceful. It was a success made possible from beginning to end by the kindness of complete strangers. You know, what started as a simple, fun test of surviving on a tiny budget became this incredible demonstration of community and generosity. It just goes to show you that even in a huge, bustling city, that human connection can pop up in the most unexpected ways. And it kind of leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? What opportunities for kindness and connection are we all walking right past in our own busy lives every single day?